Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where we talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Ray Donovan. A lot of stuff went down in this episode, so let's break it down. I'm actually kind of surprised that Ray was able to, manage to escape like that. And I love how it just kind of he goes into that restaurant or whatever, and she's like, do you need help? He's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom, thanks, and just kind of patches himself up. And lo and behold, to go home, and, well, there's a lot to kind of break down. First of all, the fact is, he made a deal with Sam. It's like, yo, here's that flash drive to take down Ferrari. I guess it's because it benefits him in a sense, because it's kind of like, hey, Ferrari's a dick, take him down, I don't care. Or at the very least, maybe that was him still feeling like he owes Sam a lot, so he wanted to kind of, Sam's been good to him, so it's just like, hey, I messed up big time, so here, I'm doing this to you. I'm making this favor for you, which is interesting because even Sam was like, you don't look good, Ray. Are you okay? It's so interesting because it's like, do you really care? Because you kind of kicked him to the curb the moment you kind of thought he fucked you, but at the same time, it's like, hey, you did good, so I'm going to be worried about you now. That's how I feel about it, but, I think she's always kind of had a little bit of a soft spot for Ray, which is ironic concerning what happens later on, but I'll get to that soon enough. But it's like, hey, Ray feels like he kind of got won, he got the upper hand, until Bridget ends up getting taken by Ferrari's people, and that turns into a whole thing, because first, Ray goes back home, lo and behold, who's there waiting for him? Mickey. It didn't click in my head until, after I'd already recorded the video and everything, the review last week. I was like, oh, he's at Ray's place. It didn't click in my head that's where he was, and it's like, of course it makes sense, which I think I might have brought that up before. This is Ray and Mickey's first time being in a scene together since last season. They have not met face to face. This is the first time, and it's like with a gun pointed to him. And Ray's like, dude, if you're gonna shoot me, shoot me. Because Mickey's so pissed and everything. He's like, why'd you do that to me? Why'd you send me to jail and everything? Which, let's be fair, it's not like this is the first time Ray sent you to jail. It's literally the second time he's done that to you. But Ray passes out. And I think that kind of shows you the messed up, mixed feelings that this family is. Because even under these conditions, Mickey still took care of Ray. He put Ray in bed, made sure he was taken care of, took him out of his clothes and everything. It's like, wow. Even properly patched him up and everything. It's like, wow. Mickey has his moments of kind of being a dick and kind of does, the shittiest thing. But in this moment, it's like, hey, you stepped in and did a dad thing, which he does from time to time, but it was still kind of surprising. But Mickey's like, why'd you send me to jail? Why'd you do that to me? My age and everything, now because of you, I've got to start over. I think it's just Ray has such resentment towards Mickey for just everything. It's just Ray is just consumed by hate just because of everything that he's been through throughout his entire life. And it bottles up and he just lashes out at people, in particular his dad. His dad wasn't always the best person anyway, so he's always kind of hated his dad. But I guess he's always kind of felt like he's carried that hate over. He even apologized to Mickey. Even Mickey was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. And Mickey's like, since when? He's like, since a very long time. And it's like, holy crap. He even does it to Terry later on, because Terry's like, Bunchy's going, which I'll get to that in a second, but the Bunchy being taken in like that, it's like Terry, it's like, we've always kind of taken blows for him, because me in particular, it's like, when he drove the car into that Taco Bell, the fact is, I got in the driver's seat, and when Dad found out, he beat me, and, Ray was like, I'm sorry, and Terry's like, for Dad hitting me? He's like, no, for everything. He's like, are you okay, Ray? Because it's like, Ray apologizing like that, just, I guess in particular to them, he apologizes to Bridget, the rest of his immediate family like that all the time, but I think to them, because I guess for Terry, it's like, because everything that went down wasn't Ray's fault. Bunchy put himself in that situation in the first place. So I don't think Terry blames Ray for, what went down and everything, because at the end of the day, Sally Bunchy made his choices. And so I chalk that up to him just kind of still being shocked that, whoa, you taking fall for this? It was kind of, he's like, no. Because, the thing is, Ray apologizing like that must be like, yo, something's going on. What's up, Ray? And he's like, I got to go to Terry. And it's like, that's such an interesting thing, because I think he's had, a real big epiphany just because he realizes what he's done to his family, that he, has done more harm than good. Because I think especially after what Lena said, the fact of the matter is, where's your family now? You're going to end up dying alone, and you deserve it. And I think all that, the whole thing with Bridget, especially her being in the situation she's in, I think it makes him think more and more of wow, I legitimately think Ray thinks he's a cancer to his family. He already internalizes a lot of stuff on himself. He blames himself for a lot of stuff anyway, which directly and indirectly on a lot of occasions could and can and is on some occasions his fault, but a lot of times I feel like he takes fault for stuff that's not even his. I mean, I think that's a big part of this whole like PTSD situation of his anyway, that he blames himself, because the thing isn't just about forgiving others, it's about forgiving yourself. And I think that's what Ray's starting to try and do, but I don't know if he's even begun starting to even forgive himself. But I was like, that was so heartbreaking. Now, going over to the Bunchy side, Bunchy was like, I need to try and figure out what I'm going to do. I want a new life, or I'm going to kill myself. And Terry was like, fuck you. And Bunchy was like, yeah, well, that's a sore subject for them because of the whole Bridget situation. Their sister Bridget. It's like, because that's why he was like, don't ever let me hear you talk about you ever killing yourself like that again. It's like, we already lost a sibling like that shit. Don't ever do that. I mean, I guess you could also make the argument that that's how they lost Abby. Technically, do. I mean, she chose her own way out, but it's still. But definitely that Bridget angle probably makes that a definite sort of subject for them. So, but for Bunchy, because he feels like he doesn't really have much else, to live for. It's like everything's kind of falling apart. Like, he wishes he could go back. There'd be things that he would do differently, but you can't go back and change things. Terry's got stuff he wants to change too. But Bunchy's like, I want to go somewhere and be able to speak English so that he can, completely start over where no one knows who he is. He isn't kind of confined by his past. But by the time Terry got back, the police were already the FBI were picking up Bunchy. Probably called him on himself. I mean, maybe they tracked him down, but I get the feeling it's more so like, no, he was trying to... Because the messed up thing too was, the interesting thing was kind of like, because like Bunchy was like, if you were in my shoes, what would you do? Terry was like, I'd turn the old man in. But like for Bunchy, it's like, I'm not even mad at him like that anymore, So if he was still pissed at Mickey, maybe he would. But where he stands right now, it's like, that wouldn't make anything better. It wouldn't make the situation better. It wouldn't help me. Wouldn't make me feel better. So I think that's his. But for him, it's like he probably felt like he had no other way to turn, which is so sad because like Ray was legitimately, even after everything, was trying to find a way out of this for Bunchy, legitimately trying to help out with the FBI thing. Like I said, because of the whole Ferrari thing and things playing out the way they did, that deal didn't go through until Ray kept up his end of the bargain. So still, it's kind of sad that things played out the way that they did in that regard, because Ray was trying to make it up to Bunchy by helping him out in that regard. I don't think that was just like a cover for him trying to get a recording of Ferrari and all that, Which I can't remember if I even said it last episode. I don't think it crossed my mind to think that he was going to give it to Sam. That never really crossed my mind. I was like, what would he be getting that extra recording for? It's like, oh, okay. So that's very interesting. It's like, give Emerson what he needs while also giving Sam what because that way it gets Emerson off his back, but also handles the whole Sam situation to mix it up to her. Now that Sam situation, when he came to Sam for the flash drive and everything, I was like, oh, Sam's not going to give it to you because she's making excuses. She gave it to him. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I was like, but the look on her face made me go, she's already got it set in the works. It's already going to go public. She just didn't want to tell Ray. It's like, no, it hadn't gone public yet until she found out, like, oh, Anita's so close and anything could literally tip this into her winning or losing. So Sam pushes forward with it because she actually kept a version of the recording herself. I'm like, yeah, she's like, oh yeah, go through with it. I'm like, what? Bridget's in trouble. That's why you gave Ray the storage device in the first place. You know his daughter's in trouble and you're about to go through this anyway? That shitty Sam, especially because he got you your money back. He got you to drive. That would be the answer to you getting in prison. Like Ray's done, like, yeah, he's messed up recently, but he's done nothing but good work for you ever since you met him last season, and you're going to do this to him and his family. And she's going to be like, yeah, there's nothing else I can do. I'm like, are you serious? Because she's like, I tried to find some other way, but this is the only way. And when she presses accept on the article, she's got a smile on her face. You're literally killing his daughter, and it doesn't seem like you care. I guess in her mind, it's like, oh, Ray's resourceful enough. He'll find a way out of this situation, which is kind of sad. Which now, I was wondering about that. I was like, is him and Sam going to be on bad terms? But it's like, no, him and Sam are on good terms. Like, I thought that shifted around, and it was like, oh, we're on good terms. We know Lena's pissed at Sam. So now that this is happening, Lena has motivation to come after her now. So I'm curious, will Lena and Ray team up together just because of this? Because it's like, if anything happens to Bridget, even if nothing does happen to Bridget, Sam is still responsible for doing this. It's like, you could have at the very least give him time, but it's like, she's so consumed in what she wants. That's the thing. Like, Sam doesn't do anything without benefits. Like, she helps Ray out and stuff like that because Ray helps her out. But in the long run, there was no win-win in this situation. It was only like, I'm the only one's going to win in this situation. Oh well, that's the only one who matters in the circumstances, which is like so shitty that she would do that. I mean, that's the whole reason why she did the whole thing last season for Smitty, because it's like, oh, she knew that Ray would be in her debt and owe her a favor and everything. So that was her, once again, kind of a thing of like, oh yeah, there's a benefit to me doing this. Like, helping Ray out in this regard wouldn't. It would have just screwed her over, especially because there was no guarantee she would have gotten what she wanted in the long run, because it would have meant losing the leverage she needed. What I also thought was kind of interesting about that whole situation too is the fact is that Sam went to Anita, and Anita was like, oh my god, he was going to have a judge killed. He's crazy. And Sam being like, yeah, I don't think you of all people have room to judge. Thing against the guy that was blackmailing her, that she ended up killing herself, that dude. But also, the argument could also be made about the whole Park situation, because it's like, she went along with everything that was going down, so it's like, you've done some shady stuff too, so don't act like you're pure innocent and all this. But I like that Sam kind of lays down the law and be like, oh, when it's all said and done, yeah, you're not mayor, I'm actually the mayor. Yeah, you're the most powerful woman and governor of New York and all that, but I'm really the mayor. What I say goes. And it's just kind of like, wow. It's just kind of interesting seeing, like, I mean, I knew Sam was going to aim for what she wanted, but I didn't know, I mean, Sam is all about power and all that, but it still never crossed my mind to think that, like, I figured the prison is what she wanted, but who's to say she'll just stop there? So I guess she needs the power of the mayor. Like, 'cause I figured, like, she just needed the mayor to get the prison and stuff like that, but I didn't realize she wanted to kind of go beyond that. I mean, you have the mayor in your pocket, so why not? Why not stop there? That's, you know, that's not how... I mean, I'm sure this all falls under the category of organized crime. Organized crime doesn't just stop with one favor type of thing, you know? So, shows you just how much of a gangster Sam actually is. What's also interesting about this episode, too, is the fact that we have Ray and Mickey, even with all their differences, even with the bad blood between them, that they're working together again. Because, you know, like I said, Ray apologized, and I think maybe that was enough. But also, under the circumstances, too, it's like, because Mickey had said it before, he's like, he wanted to apologize to Bridget, you know, told Smitty to tell her, like, sorry, I wasn't a better grandfather. And it's like, you know, it's his grandchild's in danger. So, of course, he's going to do whatever it takes, you know, working with Ray, because he knows how important this is to Ray, too. So, it's like, this is family. So, it's like, family going to be there for each other when the time comes, you know? Getting Smitty and Daryl in, and they're all waiting in the bar, and I love that Smitty's like, shouldn't we be looking for Bridget? Daryl's like, you don't know my brother that well. Ray will kill everyone in New York if it means to get Bridget back. And Smitty's like, I would too. And he's like, just trust Ray's plan. Lo and behold, I was wondering who the cop would be that they get. And I guess it makes sense that it's Danny, because Danny's someone that Ray can definitely, I guess he knows he can push Danny's buttons more so than anyone, because if it was Red, he'd be a harder cookie, the crack. And I guess he's not as, you know, as accessible. Danny's the more accessible one, I'm assuming, just kind of chalking that up. So I was wondering, I was like, how are you going to grab him? I wasn't sure. And then Mickey just hit someone, like, oh, you're literally doing this in front of a bar full of people. Okay. And Mickey's just like, okay, pulls out the gun, is like, no problems. And they leave with Danny. I'm like, jeez, I didn't expect you to do that. I mean, that they frequent that place. I'm like, there's going to be some calls out about what went down, but I was just kind of shocked too, especially considering the fact that Danny's a cop too. But hey, I guess at this point in time, you don't have to really worry about all that stuff. You know, it's just like Bridget's life is on the line, so that's all that matters. Well, it's interesting though. It's like you know, Mickey's over there beating the crap out of Danny, and then Ray comes over and does like his thing of like, you know, if you don't answer me, Mickey's going to kill you, and then I'm going to kill your family, and I'm not just going to stop there. You know, so tell me where my daughter is. And finally does. Smitty's the one taking Danny back to Sandy's. I'm wondering, well, I guess he's extra leverage. Like, I guess if things don't work out, they can come back and beat the crap out of him, or at least find out, like, what else he might potentially know. So, because that Danny being under, you know, Ray's thumb could be a problem for Ferrati, most definitely. Well, even more so now because, well, it's not really much of a thing since now that the article has been published, or well, it was published, but it hadn't obviously gone widespread because it just got published by Sam in this episode. So, but that whole Mac and Bridget situation was interesting because obviously for him it's like, I'm not doing this because I want to, I'm kind of forced, because it's not just my life that's on the line. My wife and son's life is on the line too, so he's got his reasons for doing this whole situation. Like, it's out of his hands of how this is handled. So it's like, no, you don't just give the flash drive over and then, the recording over and then bam, everything's good, you get Bridget back. It's like, no, after he wins the election, then he'll give Bridget back, which is like, can you even be 100% sure? Mac is saying that because Mac probably believes that, but I don't know if Ferrari would do that. After all the trouble Ray's caused him, he might feel it just be a need to just put a bullet in Bridget's head just to prove a point. Same thing for Ray too, so. But what's interesting was kind of like Mac trying not to be the bad guy in this situation. He's taking the, gag off of Bridget, turning on a movie and everything, talking to her until he gets pissed and hits her. Because for him, it's like, her doing that isn't just jeopardizing her life, it's jeopardizing everything and everyone's life. But he does, apologize multiple times for hitting her, because for him, it's like, and it was kind of an interesting thing, because for him, he was like, I can't remember the last time I actually felt good, because he's been doing such terrible things for so long. It kind of makes you go, when was the last time I was actually a good guy, And that's kind of a shame. I was actually halfway expecting the conversation to come up about Ray, about the whole, Mac being the one who saved him. I thought, Mac would have brought that up. That's why I was kind of like, well, Bridget's mouth was covered up the whole time, so she never really, that conversation never came. But the moment she started bringing up Abby, I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to watch Dirty Dancing because, movie that I used to watch with my mom and she's dead. Matt covered her mouth up because it would have made him feel even more regretful, because it's like, this is a girl who's already been through so much. She lost her mom like that, she, and it's still a fresh wound. And for him, it's like, he felt like if Bridget kept talking, it would have made him more reluctant to keep doing what he's doing. But yeah, when it was all said and done, though, there is a situation of them not being there at the end of the episode. Also, the fact is Mickey had Ray's back like that. Like I said, in this point in time, it's like he literally just had a gun on Ray earlier that day, but now it's like he's up there protecting his son when the time comes. So it's kind of like, it's kind of sweet in its own weird, messed up way. But when Ray gets there, Mac is gone. I want to assume that Mac took Bridget somewhere because he knew that they were coming for her. I hope he didn't take her to Ferrari, or at the very least, I hope Mac turns this around, because because if he doesn't, because it was something interesting, because Bridget was like, my dad will help you out, and Mac was like, not after this. After what he's done now and what he's a part of, Ray's not going to forgive him unless Mac turns this around. We'll see and I think he can turn this around and end up looking after Bridget. Maybe he ends up taking out Red and Ferrari. I feel like the Ferrari thing, that's got to be Ray who does that, just because of everything. Because it's like, he's the one who made the promise that he'd kill him. That was about the Sam situation, but it's like, oh, you took my daughter, I'm going to put you down. So we'll see in the long run what's going to go down. I have no idea how this is all going to play out. You hope for the best, but it could end up being the worst in that regard, So it could end terribly is what I mean, So we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out in the next episode. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and good